Before you step off that ship, you need to hear this. Thousands of cruise passengers get fined, detained, scammed, or stranded every year for the same avoidable mistakes. Let's make sure you're not one of them. *7. Don't ignore local laws and CUSTOMS when you step into a cruise port. You're stepping into an entirely new legal system. And the biggest mistake travelers make is assuming that local laws are the same as back home. Spoiler alert. They are not. In many ports, especially in the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, and parts of Asia, there are strict rules about things like public drinking, taking photos of certain buildings, possession of certain items, and even dress codes. These aren't suggestions. They're enforceable laws, and breaking them can get you fined or even detained. Imagine you're in a port like Dubai or Abu Dhabi. Something as simple as drinking alcohol in the public space can land you in serious trouble. In some Caribbean islands, wearing camouflage clothing is illegal, even for children. And in certain cultural regions, entering a religious space with uncovered shoulders isn't just frowned upon. It's prohibited. Many travelers don't know these things until they've already crossed a line. And by then, it's too late. Cruise lines even warn guests on the daily itinerary about port-specific laws. But most passengers skim right past that page. Don't be that person. Why it gets you in trouble. Because in cruise ports, "I didn't know" isn't a valid excuse. You're expected to respect the laws of the country you're visiting, even if you're only there for a few hours. How to avoid it. Read the ship's daily newsletter. Check the official port information on the cruise app. Google port name greater than tourist laws before getting off the ship. This one step can save you a world of trouble. 6. Don't buy or transport. Banned items. Cruise markets are full of eye-catching souvenirs, shells, weapons, animal products, alcohol, exotic foods, cultural artifacts, plants. The list is endless. But a lot of passengers get in trouble for purchasing things that are illegal to bring back on the ship or illegal to transport. Internationally, ever heard of someone trying to bring back a conch shell from the Bahamas? Many passengers don't know conch shells are protected in multiple regions. Others grab coral, starfish, or ivory without knowing these items are restricted or outright banned. Then there's food. Many ports have incredible local treats, fresh fruit, meats, cheeses, spices, but bringing them back on the ship can violate agriculture laws. Customs agents take this very seriously because one contaminated item can affect entire ecosystems. And yes, passengers get stopped and fined for this all the time. Weapons? A major no. Even decorative weapons like machetes or throwing knives can get confiscated and lead to security questioning. Why it gets you in trouble. Ports follow national and international customs laws. Ships follow maritime law. If you violate either, you're in trouble. How to avoid it if you're not 100% sure it's allowed? Don't buy it. 5. Don't leave your ship without knowing exactly where you're going. One of the biggest mistakes travelers make is stepping off the ship and thinking the cruise port is just like Disney World, safe, organized, controlled. That is not always the case. Ports can be chaotic. Streets may not be clearly marked. Taxi stands might not be organized. Some ports have multiple exits that lead to unfamiliar streets. And many first-time cruisers walk out with zero plan and no idea how to get around. This leads to getting lost wandering into unsafe areas, missing your tour, missing the ship every year. Cruise passengers get stranded because they walked too far, misjudged time, or took a wrong turn. Imagine this scenario. You're in Cozumel. You leave the port and follow what you think is the right road to town. 30 minutes later, you realize you're nowhere near the tourist zone. Now you're stressed, overheated, and confused, and the ship leaves in 2 hours, or you're in Jamaica and you take a shortcut suggested by a friendly local. Next thing you know, you're in an area your cruise line explicitly told you to avoid. Why it gets you in trouble? Because if you miss the ship, it's your fault. And the ship will not wait. How to avoid it. Know the port layout before leaving the ship. Save the ship's location on Google Maps. Use only official taxis or excursions. Plan your route and stick to it. Ports are not dangerous by default, but getting lost can be. 4. don't get too comfortable with SDR and GR escrows. Ports are full of friendly locals, vendors, and guides. Most are completely legitimate. But, and this is a big but, ports are also hotspots for scams. Targeting tourists. And these scams aren't always obvious. Some are extremely subtle. A free bracelet placed on your wrist that suddenly costs $20, a vendor offering to take your photo, then demanding a tip a taxi driver, quoting one price and then pretending he never said it. A tour operator who claims they're approved by the cruise line when they're not, someone offering you a special local experience that leads you far from the tourist area. Then there are more serious issues like pickpocketing or distraction scams. Passengers often let their guard down because cruise vacations feel like a safe bubble, but the moment you step into a port, you're just like any other traveler and scammers. No tourists are easy targets. Why it gets you in trouble? Because engaging with the wrong person can lead to stolen items, scams, harassment, or being led to unsafe areas. How to avoid it? Stay near busy areas, ignore unsolicited offers, only book official tours, keep bags zipped and valuables hidden, trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. 3. Don't drink too much in port. Cruise ports are famous for beaches, bars, rum punch, tequila tastings, frozen cocktails, and one drink before the ship leaves. But here's where the trouble starts. Alcohol hits harder in the sun. You're sweating, dehydrated, walking on uneven roads, crossing busy streets, and suddenly one drink becomes 4, and 4 becomes, where am I? Drunk passengers get lost, aggressive, injured, robbed, detained. And here's the big one. The ship can legally refuse to let you board if you're drunk. Yes, it happens. If security thinks you're a danger to yourself or other passengers, they can and will deny boarding. That means you're stuck in a foreign country. Because you had one drink too many. There have been cases where drunk passengers fall, break bones, or injure themselves while riding scooters or ATVs. Local authorities may arrest you if you're causing a disturbance. You wouldn't be the first person to spend a night in a port jail while your ship sails away. Why? It gets you in trouble because alcohol lowers your awareness, makes you a target for scams, and increases the risk of accidents and legal issues. How to avoid it? Drink responsibly. Know your limits. And save the heavy drinking for the ship, where it's safer and free from outside consequences. 2. Don't try to sneak back to the ship. Being late to the ship is the #1 problem at every cruise port. Thousands of passengers miss their ship each year. TikTok and YouTube are full of videos of pier runners, the frantic sprint, the waving arms, the last-minute tears. Sometimes the ship waits. Most of the time, it doesn't. But here's the part many people don't realize. If you arrive late because you took a non-approved excursion or went exploring on your own, the ship has no obligation to wait for you. None. If the ship is scheduled to leave at 4 p.m., and you show up at 4:01, even if you're visible from the pier, the captain can leave without you. Why? Because cruise ships operate under tight port schedules, tide cycles, and international regulations. Delaying departure even minutes can cause legal and logistical issues when you miss the ship. You pay for your own hotel, you pay for immediate travel to the next port. You may need emergency documents, you may need to call the cruise line's port agent. You might have to fly internationally last minute, and these expenses can easily climb into the thousands. Why it gets you in trouble? Because the cruise line's priority is safety, not passengers who can't tell time. How to avoid it? Use the ship's time, not your phone's time. Book excursions through the cruise line. Always plan to return 1 to 2 hours early. No souvenir is worth missing your ship. 1. The biggest mistake. Don't carry illegal or restricted items. This is the one that gets passengers into the most serious trouble. Every port has strict laws regarding drugs, weapons, medications, and restricted items. And some passengers think that because something is legal in one country or even one U.S. state, it must be legal everywhere. Wrong. In many ports, possession of marijuana or cannabis products, gummies, oils, vapes, NY form is illegal and can lead to arrest. Even prescription medications can be questioned. If you don't have proper documentation, police in some ports also conduct random bag checks, especially in areas popular with tourists. Cruise security will also search your bags as you reboard. You do not want to be the person detained because you brought something off the ship that you shouldn't have. Passengers have been fined, detained, temporarily arrested, denied reboarding, referred to local authorities. This is not a maybe situation. It happens on cruise trips every single week. Why it gets you in trouble? Because ports follow local law, not cruise law. And those laws may be far stricter than you're used to. How to avoid it? Bring only what you absolutely need and nothing questionable. Period. Asterisk. Thanks for watching. Cruise ports are some of the most exciting places in the world, but they're also places where a little extra awareness goes a long way.